Hey guys! Today I wanted to talk about different kinds of paper and the effect that they have on your drawings. I ordered a bunch of different paper from Jerry's Artarama, mostly little sample sizes to test out different things that I can do with each paper. I wanted to see how they would handle my graphite, colored pencil, and watercolor drawings. The only paper I've ever used is the colored pencil paper, which ironically I don't like for colored pencil pieces. I'll be going through all of these in future videos, so make sure to subscribe and stay tuned. Jerry's also included a couple colored pencils for free with my order, so that was nice. Today, though, I'm going to be using the Strathmore Bristol smooth paper. It's a 9x12 pad with 20 sheets, and it's a 100-pound weight, so it's actually really nice and sturdy. I could tell as soon as I opened this pad that it was going to be some special paper. Could this be the one paper to rule them all? I don't know, but I can tell you that it's the smoothest, silkiest paper that I have ever seen or touched. The thickness of this paper is so nice, and I couldn't wait to get drawing on it. So let's get started. All of the materials will be listed below in the description, so make sure to check that out. I'll be using Faber Castell graphite pencils for some of it, and my handy dandy mechanical pencil. I like the sharpness of a mechanical pencil, and it helps me get all the fine details as dark as I want them and as sharp as I want them without having to constantly sharpen my pencil. I hate that. Needed eraser. We also have Tombow mono eraser for the fine highlights, a stiff brush to get rid of all your icky bits, paper stumps for blending. I have had this big one for like 15 years, and it's one of my favorites. I guess it was my cat's favorite at one time too. Nice. Sandpaper block for sharpening, and it's allergy season. Just kidding, it's for blending. Moving on. As I mentioned before, this paper is super smooth, like glass. I have never felt a paper this smooth. I really needed a smooth paper though for my graphite portraits. There are times when I want a textured look, and there are times when I want to blend that skin out until it's flawless. I realized for a long time that I stopped doing portraits, even though they're my favorite thing to do, because every time I would go to draw one, I would get so frustrated with the paper. Does anyone else feel like they're drawing mustaches on people when they're shading the upper lip? No? Just me? Maybe I'm just weird, but now that's all you're going to think about when you shade an upper lip. Anyway, back to the paper. I used to use cheap sketch paper, just cheap sketchbooks that you can find at Walmart because I honestly didn't think that the paper mattered that much. Then I moved on to Canson XL everything, Canson mixed media, Canson watercolor, because it was inexpensive and it pretty much handles most of what I throw at it. Well, almost anything. I found myself wanting to get back into portraits and sketching, and I couldn't get any of the looks that I was going for. I don't know if they changed the formula or what, but I started noticing that erasing anything was out of the question. As soon as I erased a mistake, drawing on top of that was impossible. I couldn't erase out highlights without mysterious marks staying on the paper. I couldn't get the fine dark lines in the hair without having to push really hard with my pencil. Every time that I would try to shade the skin, it came out super uneven and blotchy. It's still a good paper, just not for my graphite portrait. I will still use Canson for colored pencil pieces for now, especially for the way I work with those, you can hide or cover up most imperfections, unlike on a graphite portrait. I can't really put a finished piece on a piece of paper that's going to leave a mysterious mark on a forehead or a cheek. Coming back to the Bristol Strathmore paper, this paper is awesome. Before I even started drawing, I was like praying that this paper was going to work out. It is definitely a paper that I would feel comfortable doing commissions for graphite on. It's hefty at 100 pounds, and it definitely does not feel like your cheap sketch paper. There is almost no tooth, so I don't know how it's going to hold up to colored pencil work. But I have seen some amazing art done on it, though, on other YouTube channels, so it's definitely something that I'm going to have to try. I'm not sure if there's a front side or a back side like there is with Canson paper, and actually most paper, so I chose to treat it like there was, just in cases. I usually just mark the paper before I take it out of the pad, in a corner or something so I don't forget, because I always forget, and I end up staring at my paper for a while trying to figure it out, and that is just annoying. It is much easier to put a little mark on it and not have to worry about it. It's not an expensive paper either. I am a cheap person, and I wouldn't have even tried the colored pencil paper that I talked about in the beginning, except for it came for free with my colored pencils, and, well, it was free. Who turns down free art supplies? Crazy people. I believe this was only 5 something for a 9x12 pad of 20 sheets at Jerry's Artarama. So branch out and definitely find a paper that fits you. When you spend half the time fighting with your supplies instead of just enjoying the process, it's not fun anymore. I really believe it can affect your art. I was honestly beginning to think I was just terrible and maybe I sucked at portraits. I'm not saying this is magically going to improve your art, but when you can sit down and draw and enjoy it, maybe your art will be better as a result. I chose this image of Taylor Swift, as you hopefully guessed already, but I chose her because I wanted a flawless skin and a bunch of detailed hair. And when you imagine Taylor Swift, you see her perfect skin and well, bam, curls. I may have went a little crazy with the hair, but that was another thing I wanted to test out with this paper. I love drawing hair this way. I know it's not super realistic, but when you can break the hair down into a bunch of curly sections, I can sit there mindlessly shading them for hours. It's fun and relaxing, and when you're finally done, it looks so cool. Well, to me it does. The reference photo had a great image of her face, and it gave me the general idea of what I wanted. But with curly hair comes a lot of frizz, and I don't really know how to draw that, nor did I really want to, so I just drew most of it my own way. I tried all of my usual blending methods and they all worked great. As you can see, I got sloppy on a lot of parts and it blended it out like a champ. I'm pretty happy about how this piece turned out and I really believe it's the paper. It was fun to work on and I had no problems. So if you're using the same old paper and you're not happy with the results, switch it up. You don't have to get the most expensive paper either. Plus, it's new art supplies, and that always gives me motivation to start a new drawing. I hope you guys like this video. I'm going to be back next week with more tutorials, so please like and subscribe, and I'll see you next time.